And touching on that, one of the areas we were just talking about and is sports tour groups, which I find very interesting because we've brought a few on board now. So as a sports tour company, and what I mean by that is an Australian-based business, they set up a tour for you, and that could be we've got a couple that are going to the British Open golf. We've got some that have gone to a golf trip in Singapore, some that have gone to America to do stadium tours, and others that go to the UK and obviously watch the Premier League. They're the biggest ones we come across, so going to different games. So what we sort of find within that is obviously the Australian-based business here is collecting in, so just say it's 5,000, 10,000, 15,000 Aussie dollars, all inclusive for your trip. They might be bringing in 10 to 20 people, but a portion of that has to then go to the providers in the UK or the US or Singapore to pay for the local part of the trip. So what we've found is two different ways of sort of looking at this. One is these tours are normally booked potentially 12 months in advance. And as we know, rates can fluctuate a lot within 12 months. So if you're booking a deposit today to start that process, but your final payment isn't due for 6 months, 8 months, 12 months, those rates and those figures are going to look very different. So we're sort of reaching out now to a lot of sports tour companies, given the success we've had with a couple recently. So if anyone that is watching this is in that industry or people in that industry, let them know to have a chat to someone around. How do you forward plan for your tours with large sums of funds? And also, how do you then manage that deposit so that you're not going either back to yourself and dipping into your profits if rates go against you, or you're asking people for more money, towards the end of the booking period.
No, spot on. And again, that's from our perspective too. It's part of the sports industry. It's the wider sports industry. There's so many areas that where rates are a critical part of the operation of that business. And anything, as you say, any tour that's transacting overseas is where we come into the mix. There's no doubt. And as you said, the success we've had to date in talking to those tour companies, because the first question is why, and then once they understand it and they realise it, we've had great success in that space already.
Yeah. Firstly, it's like most people, it's rates. It's a better rate than the bank. But then secondly, that the rates over time become sort of not irrelevant, but they're just part of the whole process because you've actually put a structure or a plan in place to just help manage your risk and know what your costs are. The rates are going to do what they're going to do, but just putting some sort of plan, process, structure, and support in place for you to know that that's taken care of. And for the next 12 months, it doesn't matter to you what exchange rates do because you've fixed your costs and you've fixed your risk and you've fixed your profits. So from a business point of view, it can let you just move on other things.
Like every business, mate, at the end of the day, to your point, you're just managing risk, and currency conversion, currency management is one of those risks. So if you can mitigate that risk to the best possible way and put more money in your back pocket even as a tour operator or back to your client base on that tour, then that's good, just generally good business.
Yeah, no, definitely. And I'd imagine now that people are starting to, we're probably 18 months out, but the 2026 World Cup will be, the next big one that people are probably looking at. Obviously in the US, Canada, and Mexico, so you've potentially got 3 currencies there that you have to think about as a tour operator. And how do you manage that? And as I said, planning stuff now and taking deposits now potentially from people and paying deposits over there to get things locked in is what can happen in the next 18 months. Could be a 10, 20, 30% swing. You just don't know. And that'll have a massive effect on your business. So no, definitely something worth looking at. And as we say, if you're in that industry or know someone in that industry, it's an area we think that we can really help and add value. Feel free to put them in touch with us.